Hmm. Oh, everybody, welcome back to another episode of NFT, NYC, careers and dating. The only four things that I'm capable of talking about these days. It's your host, truly, Brian Junn. Wednesday night, single guy, 24 in New York City. Best thing to do is obviously step in front of camera and live in this dystopian universe of talking to people you don't even know. Today's going to be a chill session. As you can tell, my voice is dead. I spent the last week at NFT NYC talking to people about NFTs. Met a bunch of cool people. Hung out with some celebrities. By hung out, I meant kind of asked them for a selfie, and I know them. But yeah, 24 times 5. What is that? 120 hours straight of talking about metaverse and unreal things is really tiring. So now I have a neck condition where I sound even more hoarse than I did before. But yeah, I just was feeling bored. Just came back from dinner. Done with work for the day, and thought I would turn this on. I felt a little bored. I've been pretty active in spaces lately on Twitter. It's fun, but it's less controlled, and people are talking all the time. It's very hard to sustain what you want to actually talk about. I wish these YouTube lives were a bit more interactive, but obviously you can't guarantee who comes in. I also just frankly need need it for the views. I think YouTube likes when I post multiple videos a week. So even if no one comes in, I think I will just take this time to talk about whatever I want. Doesn't have to be NFTs or NYC or dating or career related. Um, I been pretty focused on work recently. Obviously, as many of you guys know, the NFT market's not very hot. The crypto market, the market in general, is overall is pretty dead, which gives a pretty good opportunity for disrupting the market and figuring out what to do next. Um, Outside of that, I've been pretty active in my mission prep. I'm going to the Dominican Republic in 10 days now. So next Saturday, I'll be heading into the DR to spread some Jesus. And aside from that, nothing really going on. Yeah, I've just been super focused on DR prep and NFT stuff for work. Um, as the summer is firing up again, it seems like there's been a spike in career exploration. Like my career, like consulting service, has been spiking up again. People are signing up, which not surprising to me. I think people are obviously starting to think about jobs as they're graduating and heading into mid-ish summer, and probably seeing people do well on LinkedIn and getting FOMO from that. But yeah, it's an interesting time for sure, and I've been getting very busy on my various forums, because I think it all aligns with what's going on right now. Um, I recently uploaded a video that I talked with my mentor on how we think about the future and the markets and the future economy. I personally think there's a huge drop off coming. I think what we're experiencing now is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, I personally strongly believe that the fall is not even started. I think there's going to be giant layoffs. I think the market will fall, perhaps even more. Um, hopefully, uh, hopefully, housing falls a little bit, so I can either rent something cheaper or buy something back home. You and Chantel Jeffries dating. So I was at a event. I wasn't even at a party. It was like a NFT event called Web3 After Dark. I think our company, Hyperspace, kind of co-hosted it, or we're like a lower tier sponsor. And Chantal Jeffries happens to be the main headliner DJ. Um, I actually didn't really know. She's a very famous person. This is not to throw shade at her, but I actually personally didn't know who that was until going to the event. And then I looked her up. She, has 5 million followers on Instagram. Is pretty active, or trying to be active in the Web3 space. I think she has her own venture fund now, and she's a DJ. I think she got famous because she's a very attractive lady. And the party was filled obviously with like Web3 people and a lot of like nerdy people who clearly have not really danced before. I was there pumping my fists in front of her, and I asked for a selfie because I wanted to. I'm a big uh, taking selfies with people ever since COVID started. Actually, I take a selfie with everyone I meet. But yeah, Chantel Jeffries was super cool. You're fine. You look like a groupie. Yeah, I was trying hard to be a groupie because no one was really like dancing in front of her, and I felt kind of bad because she was pretty serious and genuine about her set, and I actually thought of that very highly because she seemed like she was really like passionate about her craft. So um, yeah, I asked her like, oh, like what kind of music are you playing, and then took a selfie there. The coolest person that I met during NFT NYC, I met Kev Jumba, one of my childhood heroes, and he followed me on Twitter, and I followed him back. And yeah, he seems to be kind of getting into Web3, trying to do some music stuff. I don't know if my audience is my age or not, but Kev Jumbo was a huge figure. One thing that made me realize is something interesting and how like how much of YouTube and like modern culture, pop culture, Asians are typically first at. Like we've had the Kev Jumbas, the Ryan Higas of the world, the Wong Fus, and then they don't like somewhat last, which like is weird to me. Ultimately, it just becomes like a uh, uh, what should I call it? The people that are here first aren't typically the people that are here forever, but the people that are here first are often like Asians are very fast at things and they know where the trend is. But I think we're not very good at persisting or making an empire out of it. Um, just bluntly put, it seems like a lot of pioneers or first comer advantage people are like Asian Americans or Asians in general, but then the people that really just like disrupt the space and expand become white people. And I don't know if that's say whatever your politics may be. I don't know how you might think about it, but I just thought it was interesting. Like when I met Kev Jumba, I was like, wait, like Kev Jumba was huge, especially for early stage YouTube. He had millions of subscribers. He had a Jumba fund and all this stuff, and obviously, he's had his special circumstances, so I think it's slightly different. But I feel like a lot of times Asians are very early on in things, like with Clubhouse. I think NFTs, Asians are really early. But ultimately, like when I went to these events last week, it seemed like it was still very like predominantly white dominated, which personally, especially given my political views, I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's an interesting phenomenon that at the end of the day, regardless of how fast the Asians seem to get there, it's not them who are controlling the top. Um, Shola asks best Chinese food in New York. I would say Flushing typically has the best Chinese food. I've been going to Miss Lee a lot in Flushing. They have really good noodles and like meat and stuff. If you're talking about New York as in like Manhattan, Chinatown has decent stuff. I've been to Woe Hop next door, Deluxe Greenbow, Hop Key. Those are all really good places. I'd say they're all pretty decent. Asian food in New York is pretty mid in my opinion. Especially Korean food is like whatever. I went to Chodankor today, which is like the hot spot for Korean food in New York. It was pretty decent. But outside of that, I'd say especially like downtown, K-Town, New York, not that great. A lot of tourist traps. There's a reason why when you go into K-Town nowadays, it's mostly not Korean people because the food's not that great. London has better Chinese food. I've never been to London, but I will say, and historically, it probably makes a lot of sense. But when I went to Scotland, I was amazed by the level of Indian food that was there. The Indian food in the UK is phenomenal. Never really had great, like phenomenal Indian food in the United States. There is one by my place in Long Island called um, Ada or something. They have really good, like this cream yogurt appetizer and like chicken, butter chicken that's super spicy. Um, Big fan of Indian food, and it seems like the UK has better Indian food, maybe because they have deeper like Indian relations and roots. Go to Dallas for good Indian food. Oh, interesting. Dallas is a good Indian population. Oh, that's yeah. I've been to Dallas. I had Tex-Mex when I was there, and then I think I dumbly just ate like Taco Bell or something. But I'll next time in Dallas, I'll definitely get some Indian food. Um, yeah, Virginia surprisingly has some good Indian food. There's some good Indian food in like Charlottesville and Stanton. But New York, I don't know. I express this in my other videos too when I complain about New York. But New York has good food, of course. In the on the expensive range, there's a lot of good food. There's good like white people food in New York. I think Chicago actually tends to have better of that in my opinion. Unless you're looking to spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars, of course, New York has the top of the top. Steak is really good. Not really hot take, but pizza is definitely the best in New York, in my opinion. But in terms of like, non-white, non-American food, I would say California's better. And New York's been relatively mid slash like underwhelming. Hey, greetings from Poland. Hey, Simon Bielinski. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. I don't know. I had Polish people watching my videos. Is there investment banking in Poland? Just look at the sense to determine where the food is. That's smart. Oh, to see like what demographic is where. Yeah, I'm like super into Indian food. I like Vietnamese food. I've always been into Thai food. I like food in general, but yeah, I like Southeast, South Asian food a lot. So if you have recommendations, feel free to recommend. I did not know that Dallas was the hub for Indian food. That kind of surprises me actually. Texas does not strike me as a ethnic center for food. Ziha, did you attend NFT NYC? Yes, I did. My company hosted a couple events. I was there all week. That's part of the reason why my voice is kind of dead. And I've just been speaking left and right and on the grind again. And today I was a little bit bored Wednesday night. My ideal dream is to just do this all day, every day, and talk about people. Talk about people. Talk about people is great too. Talk to people. That'd be phenomenal. I tell people every day if I got paid to speak, nothing would make my life happier. I would love to like go on a tour to like make speeches, but I have nobody to do that, so this is the way to do it. That's why I miss Clubhouse so much. I was so that platform is seriously built for me, and I wish it lasted longer. But just there's no incentive for people to be on it, and it ended up being a lot of like scammers and people that are trying to be creepy, which many platforms end up becoming in this humanity's evilness. Q New York, actually, Sean, funny that you mentioned Q. I went there 2 weeks ago with one of my friends from college. Um, she's been meaning to go there for a long time, so we went, and it was super good. I had the like raw beef thing on the bread, and their crispy rice was really good. I had this like fried rice thing, and their octopus was really good. Yeah, big fan of Q. Um, oh, I should have gone to see you. Oh, Zio, if you were around, you should come say hi. I told all my videos. If you guys are ever in New York, say hi. I'm around all the time. Um, what sector of finance do you think pays well but doesn't require you to work crazy hours? I have a video on that, bro. I don't. I mean, that's the question of the hour, right? Like, what's the thing that allows you to do little work but gets paid a lot? Doesn't exist. Jobs all are logical. If they pay a lot, they either demand a lot, or you have to have a special skill or have a lot of experience. If they are low hours and they're easy to do, they're probably not paying a lot. Hey, hello from Indonesia. Hey, Nicholas. Wow, we got Poland and Indonesia. What? What? Question for you guys abroad. Why do you watch my videos? I feel like my videos are very U.S. catered. I talk about like banking, which is very U.S. heavy, and perhaps a bit of Europe. I talk about New York City. I talk about dating as it relates to people in America. I'm shocked that I have even one person from Indonesia or Poland, which I would think are relatively niche places on this channel. And wow, yeah, no, thanks for watching, Nicholas, and who was from Simon. But very curious as to like one, how you found this channel, and two, what benefit slash value I bring as a American to you. What do you think about the Board ABI Club scandal? So, yeah, there's multiple scandals. So you're talking about the Nazi symbol or something. I actually don't know much about it. I googled it yesterday and saw that there's similarities between their logo and the Nazi symbol. It's concerning. I would assume I am of no expert there. Maybe they hired a cheap Fiverr designer who just didn't know better. I probably need to look more into it. Um, I don't know if you have that much money pulled into something at that quick of a time span. Of course, there's many issues. Is that going to lead to the downfall of the entire brand? I don't know. I think there comes a point in society slash organizational structure where you become so viral, you're almost uncancelable. Speaking of cancel culture, um, we had R. Kelly and Julian Maxwell both get sentenced in the past 2 days. Great win for society. I don't know why there's not a massive protest everywhere to get their clientele list publicized. We really need to basically get all these mofos and put them in jail. I'm not really understanding why people aren't disturbed slash hitting the streets. There's plenty of things that people do hit the streets for that are, in my opinion, not as significant as getting a list of child molesters down. But I guess people are just satisfied with these two people going to jail for 20, 30 years when they've done a lot of horrendous things with children and people that don't deserve it. So, yeah, sorry to go off on a tangent, but interesting to me that We almost seem like we're satisfied with just these people just go to jail when clearly there's much more that needs to be done. It's things like that that boggle me. I feel like people are very easy to go on protests about things that don't really require protesting, or protesting is not really going to do anything, versus like these things, if it gets viral enough and people continue to push for things, I'm sure that there's something that could be overturned. People are odd. Um, Cote, New York. Yes, that's like the barbecue place. I think I've been there, or I'll probably be there soon. Are you in New York City right now? Ziel, yes, I'm in New York. Australia gang, what's up? Wow, we have an Australian, a Indonesian, and a Polish person. What? So diverse. I'm an American. Okay, for the international folks, can you? Well, by international, I mean as an American, you guys are international. Can you tell me why? What do you gain value from watching this? Like, I feel like I'm such a like generic American that provides zero value to international students. Speaking of international, check out my Korean channel where I talk about more international things, in my opinion. Nicholas Watson asks, ever read The Denial of Death? New favorite book, The Denial of Death. That sounds kind of anti what I believe. Death is inevitable, Nick. You can't deny death. What is it about, though? Yeah, the Nazi one. Yeah, I talked about that. Have you heard of Sappy Seals? Is that an NFT project, Obama? Obama. It sounds like a Sappy Seals. That sounds like an NFT project. Obama reminds me of. Oh, I miss Clubhouse so much. I was relatively viral for doing that Obama impression. Just evidently, I'm gonna be like growingly cocky about this. I feel like I'm definitely naturally gifted at talking, and Clubhouse just required nothing but a voice and your ability to carry a conversation and have that presence. And I was just so damn good at it. And then it's just the platform died once COVID's peak was over. I'm not gonna say I miss COVID anyway, but those 2 weeks of me spending 50 hours on Clubhouse, some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. I don't think people are paying attention to it. Yeah, I assume you're talking about the like R. Kelly stuff and the Julian Maxwell. Yeah, no, people care about the wrong things all the time. People protest and worry about things that don't matter, and then they lack the attention in things that do matter. Media executives are probably implicated, hence that lack of pushing. Oh, there's probably media executives, politicians left and right that are pushing insane amounts of money so that this news does not get out, and they are using anything in their power and influence to make sure that none of this gets out. Because the moment they do, it will be a Pandora's box of people that you have trusted all along, and people that stand for these things. I'm sure there's hundreds of people that are so openly progressive and talk about how they need to fight against, these molesters, and they themselves are actually like, no doubt about it. Politicians, ex-presidents, there's an entire box that is getting very massively protected. The fact that they're just basically using these scapegoats as figureheads to go to jail on behalf, and never release these public lists boggles my mind. If I had the time, I would honestly go. That's the one thing I would protest right now. Um, R. Kelly music still slaps. Jesus. Um, I don't. I think Mark Kelly's a different point of return. Like, I can't defend him by any means. Doesn't matter what he's doing, but I do think for other kinds of things for cancellation, I think it's important to detach the person's actions versus the ability to appreciate their art. That's a political stance that I personally have. And my biggest fan, Nick Watson, just texted me The Denial of Death, a real book by Ernest Becker. If you guys are interested, go read it. Very humanistic approach to existential absurdism. Sounds like my life story. Um, Especially with the Roe v. Wade thing, I think most people are focused on that. Yeah, people are very diverted in what they want to focus on. I am not going to comment on that on this stream, but I think people should be protesting, waiting for asking for the public listing of the clientele list of Epstein and uh, R. Kelly to be released. Your insight into what books, resources, articles would you recommend reading to get into the Web3 space? There are no books or articles I would recommend to get into Web3 space. Web3 space, you need to get into by diving deep into Twitter and the shit show that is Discord, and talk to people that are experts, 90% of which are probably scammers and have no idea what they're talking about. It's a very network-based industry that's being built as you speak, so no one really knows what they're talking about. There is a NFT canon by A16Z, which is very helpful. They have like a very like scientific approach to it and what this all means. I would recommend that. It's a long list of articles on the space, but outside of that, I think it's more about talking to people in the space. Your insight into IB brought me here because I'm a finance student at AU. Oh, so Australia does have things like banking and stuff. I think actually I mentored / talked to a couple students from Australia, so I don't know why I was tripping. Okay, so Australia relevant, Indonesia and Poland surprising. It's an NFT project. I've not heard of Sappy Seals, Obama. Sorry. I assume they're a great project. Not financial advice. Farhan asks, "Hey Brian, how are you? I think I'm okay. I've like kind of found myself recently. I think there was like a decline around February and March. I was kind of getting sad and depressed about being in New York. Felt a little burdened. It was cold. I miss California. And then recently, I've been finding more myself and my community and trying to get connected better with church people and feeling a bit more comfortable at work. NFT NYC kind of boosted my ego, made me realize, damn, I'm so good at networking and talking to people. Hanging out with cool people and like seeing celebrities and stuff made it seem even more exciting because it's one of the reasons why I joined this industry. I have been thinking actively about like what is my like longer term big step thought. What do I want to do? I'm about to turn 25, so there's a lot of thoughts on like what should I accomplish slash go for before I'm too old. Do I need to think about like marriage or dating too? There's just a lot of thoughts that me being an overthinker is making me think about. I really want to tackle slash make an effort to jump into entertainment somehow at some point. I just don't know how to do it. I'm praying for some magical opportunity where this person's like, "Oh, I saw you talking on YouTube and you're pretty good at it. You should come on the show." But not happening. So I need to make my own personal efforts to do it. Maybe NFT is the way to get into it. I feel like this space allows you to connect with people that you wouldn't have otherwise. If you guys know anyone that hosts TV shows or podcasts, even at small level, let me know and let them know about me because I'm trying to get famous. Are you holding an NIC meetup, Timothy? I don't think I'm big enough to hold a meetup. I don't think people would show up. Happy to. I've met people. I see a lot of people at like bars and clubs, and probably like 2 to 5 times a week, people are like, stopping me on the train and stuff, saying, "Oh, are you Brian?" But I don't think I'm going to hold a meetup. I'm not a celebrity. The denial of death is Ernest Becker's brilliant and impassioned answer to why of human existence. Well, Nick, you know my worldviews on human existence. In bold contrast to the predominant fraud. Wow, I'm embarrassed as a liberal arts graduate to not be able to pronounce Freudian school of thought. Becker tackles the problem of the vital lie. Men's refusal to acknowledge his own mortality. Yes, we do all die. Life is short, which is why I want to be a celebrity before I die, before I'm too old. And instead, I am staring into a computer 12 hours a day. Do you know how probable it is to recruit for full time in IB from a summer analyst position in Houston? I would assume it's not impossible, but obviously everyone wants to come to New York and very obvious supply and demand. The more people want something, the more someone wants to do something, the less availability there is. But you just try your hardest, bro. Um, Twitter is blowing up per usual. Oh yes, and we're gonna start doing a podcast on NFTs and probably upload it to my channel or maybe a different channel, and I'll be on it with me and my buddy Benny at my company. So tune out for that. Tune in for that. I don't know why I said tune out. Which I respect about you, Brian. Shola, what do you respect about me? What did I say? I'm reading these chats late, so I don't know. Simply chef. Hi son, you eating well? Are you my dad? Yeah, I've been eating well. I just had a pretty big meal. I might go after this talk, go get like a late night pizza or something. I went through a very like limited eating phase, and then now I've just been kind of like a F it. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I'm in New York for now. I want to enjoy my life. Food is one of my only happinesses. Why would I not eat? So I've been pretty liberal in my food spending and also food consumption. I think that's why they released Epstein news now, since people are so busy with Roe v. Wade. Oh, I completely agree. I 100% agree that it's so odd to me that Roe v. Wade, uh, Julian Maxwell, and uh, what's his name, R. Kelly are back to back to back. It's like so evidently planned that it's not even shocking to me. While everyone's pissed off, let's drop this thing that people would be even more pissed off about if it was dropped before. The press is all controlled. Like there's no doubt about it. How many hours do you work? Frankly, even though I said banking, and this is like more controllable. I can still, like unlike banking, I can go out for dinner. I can have weekends. In some ways, I feel like with the NFT world, I feel like I'm working 24/7, whereas in banking, I work like 100 hours because stuff is always alive. It's always in the back of my mind. Working at a small company, it's much more stressful because you have more ownership and you feel like you actually need to do something. You care about what you're doing. So I like, even when I go to sleep and as soon as I wake up, the level of stress is like a different level. Even when I'm out, I feel that stress of like needing to do well and like thinking about how do I make NFTs better. It's very, very freaking stressful. Um, what was your favorite event at NFT NYC? Doodles and Cool Cats were great. Yeah, well, I'm not cool enough to be in ETH. I'm in Seoul. The cool two events that I was at were pretty cool. The Web3 After Dark, which I tell, and then there's a Monkey DAO event, SMB event. Um, that's where I met Kev Jumbo. That was super cool. And there's a Catalina Whales mixer, like Wagme Beach event. That's the one with Diplo. That was also super cool. We kind of co-hosted that one, and there's a lot of like influencery LA looking people there, a lot of good looking people there, like models and stuff. That was super cool. Banking Sin and AU is pretty big. Yeah, sorry. No disrespect to Australia. I didn't know that, or I forgot that Australia actually outside of banking scene. Yo, Brian, what's up, Nesty? Attend gym classes at Equinox and Barry's. I'm too poor for Equinox and Barry's. I just use my building gym upstairs. It actually blows my mind that people pay $300-$400 a month to go to the gym and they barely work out to begin with. So I'm hearing you have a girlfriend, introverted beauty. I do not have a girlfriend. Who did you hear that from, introverted beauty? I wish. Let me know if you find my girlfriend. Introduce me to her. Do you still wear earrings? I do. They're behind me in this closet. I wear when I go out or I'm feeling it. I've been trying to stay young. I've been feeling the like half 50 is approaching soon. So I've been dressing kind of young. I've been trying different styles that I know I can't do when I'm 30. If anything, I regret not doing it more than in college. I should have dyed my hair more. I should have like pierced my nose and gotten tattoos and wore dressed more streetwear. And instead, I aged quickly and went into banking and started dressing button ups and cared too much about what people thought. I should have been more expressive. So I'm trying to do that more before I fully turn adult. Um, the way to a man's heart is through his appetite. What are your thoughts about buying a house during a recession? I think it's a great idea. I think housing is a for sure asset. You always need a roof over your head. You won't always need an NFT. Um, I think housing is the best asset to buy if you have the money for it. Unfortunately, people don't have the money for it, and it's super freaking expensive, and interest rates are going up. Do you think that becoming a quant developer is a good move right now? No idea what quant developers do. Finance plus tech is always promising. Yes, if you can do it, always do it. I'm right here, lol. Why not get your streetwear and tattoos now? Um, well, I think I'm a little too late for tattoos. Also, it just doesn't match the brand that I've built for myself. I can't believe I just said that. I'm too scared for tattoos. Streetwear, I will probably. I have slowly been kind of doing, but like I have a pretty bad sense of fashion. I always get called out for what I wear. Kind of wear whatever. I'm wearing uh, company merch right now. Hyperspace.xyz. Um, I what I mean by I'm gonna try to live young is less so much about like I'm gonna start dressing supreme and bathing ape or bathing ape, yeah, babe. But more so just like I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I've lived too responsibly and too like future minded. I'm gonna be try to be a bit more ballsy and kind of live life as I find fit. Live life truly to the fullest because I realize like overthinking and living for other people and overthinking about like responsibilities doesn't get you anywhere. And if anything, those people, especially in today's society, I feel like are succeeding less and less and less. I can do both. I can balance both, but I'm going to try to be more YOLO for the lack of better words, but not like overly irresponsibly. Do you want to date? Official Monroe Brooke asks. I do. I do. I've been single now for exactly 3 years, and I think I'm pretty ready. I've mentioned this multiple times, but during COVID, I knew that this other side world will eventually come. I was wide beyond my ages, and I knew that COVID would end, or whatever you want to call it, the pandemic. And I prepare myself accordingly. I think I'm a pretty good version of myself right now. I've peaked again. Um, New York is a good and bad place to date for what it's worth, depending on how you see it. But yeah, I am ready slash excited slash looking forward to dating. Um, are you a fan of soju? Yeah, I am a big fan of like drinking with friends, drinking with food. I've not drank since April 6th, 7th, but I will probably drink again once I'm back from missions. What do you think is the best job role in the business field? I think business jobs suck in general. I don't know if there's a good job. It depends on what your skill set it is, but all corporate jobs suck. What t-shirt brand is that? It's not really a brand. We designed it, or one of us designed it. It's our company logo, Hyperspace at XYZ. You're still young. I am still young, yeah, but I think 25 is like a different benchmark. I'm gonna round up to 30 now soon, right? And I'm past the age where I can be a kid, and I've seen plenty of people that are much older than me that act immature and still act whatever, but I don't want to become one of those people. So I want to be a legitimate 25-year-old. But so before I turn 25 in the next 2 months, this summer, I'm really trying to live to the fullest, whatever that means. And then before I turn too old or have a family, I'm trying to pursue my dream of becoming famous. But I don't know what the execution of that will be. And I've become I've always been such a textbook person. I feel like it's hard to just like venture into that. I have like relatively enough saved up to think about these things, but we'll see. I think the career track I'm at right now and the industry that I'm at right now is the closest I can get to pulling off something like that. I think it establishes good connections into the entertainment industry and possibly getting famous. So we shall see. We shall see. It might be a very unrealistic thing, and I might be just speaking out of my butt, and people might be like, "How the hell would you get famous?" And I think you can't really get famous just to get famous. Um, people don't um, become famous to become famous. They become famous accidentally or through a different skill. But we shall see. Um, what's your type? You say. Um, I like. I remember when I had Hinge for a week and a half. I said I like pretty girls. I do like pretty girls. I think it. I think people are lying when they say, "Oh, look, looks obviously matter for all genders, both genders." Um, I like tall women typically. Um, I think worldview matters. I like people that are passionate about what they're doing. I like people that are extroverted and can handle themselves in social situations. Do you know anything about blockchain gaming? I do. I know a fair amount of blockchain gaming. I think it has definitely a lot of potential. Actually, my video this Saturday covers the only ways that I think NFTs can succeed. One of which is video gaming. I don't know if anyone has executed it properly yet, but I do see a future in it. I think the digitalization and ownership of assets is huge. Video gaming is a giant and constantly growing industry. As technology gets better, people are going to be more and more into gaming. Um, yeah, I think if anything, I think blockchain uh, is very well suited for video gaming. Spent today reviewing the financials of one of our clients, who's a co-founder of Aries. How do you recommend that I break into his house so I can ask for a job? Let's pretend you didn't say that on my thing. Aries, like the fund. I worked with Aries before. Are you New York dating man? Yeah, dude, New York dating man. What a mystery. So many people, especially if you're a guy. Great ratio. You'd expect out of 6 million women, there must be someone, but the optionality makes it worse because you think, oh, there must be something better, and the people also think there must be something better, and people are so obsessed with themselves and focusing on their own life that they don't have time for people. And commitment is hard, and you don't know if you're gonna be in New York for a long time. Endless excuses. New York dating, rough. What are the barber costs of New York City? I spend like $25, $30. I try to find cheap places. Are you expecting to tip well? People don't care if you go to cheaper places. I don't really care about my hair. And my hair is a lost cause anyway, so it doesn't matter where I go to get it. I love your content, bro. Thank you, Sebastian. You seem like you got your heart in the right place. Big things will happen for you, brother. Keep trudging up the mountain. Hell yeah, dude. Life is short. You gotta make it. You gotta make the best of it. You just gotta put an effort where you find fit. I'm a keep climbing the mountain. If all business jobs suck, what jobs do you recommend? I went to graduate as a business major. Apologies, Bernie. Bernie's a fun name to have in business. I don't know. Banking's fine. I think it's a good job out of college. Working for startups is cool. Consulting is great. You need some baseline career that will give you the jump, establish the connections, and then you can go from there. Investing is fun. I was just exaggerating. Business obviously has a lot of cool jobs. Good luck on your goal in getting famous. I think you should try modeling to break in. Modeling is probably the last way I can get famous for Nasty. I have terrible proportions. I'm not that tall. I'm not like a traditionally good looking person. I think the best way I can get famous is through like this influencer route or talking. If I have the time and the talents, I think I would kill it in vlogging if someone could record and edit for me. I have like no fear of the public, and I'm willing to do embarrassing things in public. And I have a pretty interesting life, in my opinion. And I honestly regret wasting the past 7 years not doing it because honestly, starting from my college career, especially, and the past 3 years of my life has been so exciting. But instead, I've wasted it and not vlogged. I think I would have gotten big enough if I did that starting from college, but wasted it doing banking and focusing on grades instead of trying to uh, make use of what I do best, which is talking and content creation and community stuff and talking to people. So I'm trying to be more alert about that and use that to the best of my ability. Your old soul and cool haircut are what your videos is fun to watch. I do kind of an old. I'm a pretty like traditional old school person, and I guess like that comes out in videos. I'm both. I play like I think it depends on who I'm with. I'm often like the young mischievous person, but also yeah, I would say I'm a pretty old soul. And I don't know if I have a cool haircut. I have fluffy hair. Cries in 5 feet. Good talk. Wow, you're gonna get famous. Yeah. All I want to do is get famous. I think so. That's something I recognized. Like when I was young, I thought everyone wanted to get famous. So me wanting to get famous is not very special. And I thought all human beings want to get famous. More and more as I meet people, most people don't want to get famous, which makes me think, oh, me wanting to be famous is legitimate. I actually do want to be famous because if that's not a innate human feeling, then clearly I'm feeling it for a reason. It's a very sad feeling to have because, as I mentioned before, fame is not something that you necessarily can make effort into. Most of the things that I want to achieve in life has nothing to do with effort, which is very unsettling. Yes, Aries, the PE firm. Yeah, they were one of our clients at one time, I think. Give me connects, please. I have no connects to them right now. I'm using this stream to take a break from CAIA study. What's CAIA? Why are there so many acronyms now? What are your three favorite NFT projects? There's a project on Solana that you could buy on Hyperspace called Brian Degenerate Business. It's actually my NFT collection of my faces. Um, that's my favorite collection because I'm a self-absorbed person and I love myself. You guys want me to link that to you? Can I link stuff in this chat? You guys want to see my NFT collection? 100 pictures of myself, 76 pictures of myself. You click that? Does that link work? You just chatted it. Can you click that? Oh, you can. Yeah, that's my collection on Solana, and it's all picture of different pictures of my face. Go look at it, sirs. Uh, what is going on? Okay, sorry. Yeah, go check out that. Go check out that NFT collection, and know that even if we buy it, none of the proceeds come to me, so don't buy it. Actually, so yeah, that's a pretty cool collection. I become very bullish on Solana monkey business, not financial advice, because I met a bunch of them, and I think that community has a lot of strong forwards. I'm a big believer. Again, not to shill, but this Saturday's video is actually on my thoughts on what's going to make NFTs as a whole succeed, and one of them is this community aspect. I'm very bullish on projects that have smart and powerful people tied by the ownership of the asset. You should start TikTok doing skits and China. I saw Chinese TikTok influencers got TV shows. Yeah, TikTok is the way to go viral, but I'm too old for TikTok. My soul, not like my age, but my old soul, and TikTok feels cringe to me. Like the fact that like I'm making these short videos, a lot of them are just like TikTok doesn't match I am the best at this, like just talking freestyle about random things, reacting to people, interacting with people, making fun of people, taking jabs at people. TikTok requires a different level of creativity and humor that I simply personally just don't have. This is my medium of choice. Live streaming is something that I actually excel at. How far will the S&P 500 drop? I think even more than what it's dropped so far. I don't think that the main crash has happened yet, and I think people are going to be destroyed by whatever's about to come. I don't know what is to come, but um, I think it's coming, and I think people are gonna be laid off. I think a lot of people that were overhired and are being paid things that they shouldn't be paid are going to be fired. There's going to be a giant burst soon. There's no way people can afford $4,000 studios continuously. So bad things are coming. What do you think? What do you look for in a wife? That's a slightly different question. I think worldview matters. Obviously, I want to raise my kids the right way or the way that I think I'm right. Um, Ideally, it's someone that comes from a family that loves each other, that she has also been loved, so that they can love my children well. Good relationship with their family, that they can be chill with my family. Um, Obviously, good looks is a plus. You want your kids to be good looking, um, and I don't know, someone that's passionate, someone that's working on something or has a job that they care about. Very important to me. Are online certificates worth it? No, I don't know if any certificates actually grant you a job. I think a lot of them are scams, especially the paid ones. I would stay away from them. You look different in every pig, dude. I get that a lot. I think I change how I look like every other month. I've gone from like Korean American, like fuck boy, like super dark, like spiky hair to curly hair to orange hair to spoofy hair to like New York to banker to NFT guy. I like being these diverse things. In fact, I wish I could dress differently every single day. That'd be kind of sick. Um, just yeah, I wish I had the fashion sense to. People are always like, "You're so ununiform. Like you don't have your own style." That is my style. Not having a style. See, it's a very hard being a jack of all trades and being very diverse and very like 75% on everything is both a good thing and a bad thing. So it's tough. Chartered Alternative Investments Analyst, that's TAIA. It's a lot of buzzwords in one acronym. I feel like there's all these certificates that don't actually mean anything. That these entities that depend on it for a money stream and people pay to get these exams are just all scammy. I slide in your DMs, but I had to retract because you didn't respond. Official Monroe Brook, you slid into my DMs. I don't really or like my Instagram DMs. I think it's funny to me that people slide into my DMs. So I had this conversation once recently with someone that did slide in, and I want to know like I theoretically it could be anyone. I think it's interesting when people like approach me in public and they're like, "Yo, Brian," like they give me a little dab. Like, what if I was a bad person? Like, what if this is just like a persona, and in person I'm a very cold, mean person that doesn't really talk, or yeah, what if I'm just lying about everything? What if I was never in banking, never any of this? Sorry if I missed your DM. I typically don't really respond to DMs that I don't follow back. But thoughts on Fillion's video about BYC? I need to watch that video. I've heard about that. I'll watch that actually right after this. I'll probably get like a pizza or something and watch that. I shall definitely do that. Degenerate Brian, yeah, degen is the term for how people that are crazy about NFTs. And my company made that collection. Degenerate Brian, hey there, bud. What's up, JPEG Zoo? Are you someone that I know? JPEG makes me think that you're an NFT person. Call me bud. Tech or finance, Phil, which is better? Depends who you are. I think there's pros and cons. It really depends on what kind of person you are. Having been in both, I see genuinely see pros and cons in both. Miss things about finance, don't miss things at all about finance. Love things about tech, hate things about tech. How many vacations coming up? Yeah, I'm going to. I mean, I want to call it a vacation, but I'm going on a mission, a church mission trip to the Dominican Republic next Saturday for a week, and I'm going to be completely offline for the first time in so long. I'm planning to not take my laptop, not get internet for my phone. I'm going to delete everything. No Twitter, no Instagram, nothing. I'm going to try to be as disconnected as possible from the public because I really just need a technology detox because I've been way too connected, especially the past 9 months in this NFT world, and it gets toxic at times. And yeah, I'm gonna be completely unavailable for a week starting next Saturday. It's gonna be awesome. Um, Jack of all trades, master of none. That's my middle name. You got mad. I ripped your tweet. Said I should pay to ghostwrite. Lol. I should pay to ghostwrite. Lol. Oh, welcome. Yeah, I need to get paid to ghostwrite. I'm too clever for Twitter. I think that's the problem. Like I think Twitter is at this like weird in between level where like you got to hit it right, but it's like if you're too like intellectual or act or sound like you're too intellectual, people don't like it, and I don't know how to hit that right. Twitter is not for me. That you got to know which platforms is good for you and which is not. I have recognized that Twitter and TikTok, at least teas, are not very good for me. Um, it's all about the YouTubes and Instagram. I'm pretty good at Instagram, in my opinion. Twitter and TikTok, not so much. How should the ladies shoot their shot? OMG, that's so fun. Um, how sh- honestly though, introverted beauty. I don't know if you're a girl. I assume from your name, you're a girl. But I have noticed. I think a number of different factors. I think it's because one, I'm getting older, so my dating pool is getting bigger. New York is a different dynamic than anything I've experienced. And three, actually, those two main things. Um, the number of girls that have been pretty upfront about like, hey, like let's get a drink, or I think you're cute, let's do this, has been rising. And it could also be, the current climate. I think women are more empowered to do these things. All power to them, and it's a good thing. Um, I do think as a more traditional person, like sometimes I'm taken aback by it, and I think it's interesting, and I don't really know how to react because oftentimes, like men are, I think, conditioned to not be approached. Like typically, it's the men who approach the woman. So men are often like shocked when like a woman approaches them first and confused and like wondering like, are they serious? Like, do they actually want something? Um, but it's a long way of saying your question was how should the ladies shoot their shot? I think straightforward communication is important. I think all men are ready to be flattered. I think men typically don't really get asked out or complimented even. It's a very like woman compliment world, right? Like men don't really receive compliments and men don't really get asked out. So I think in fact in some ways I think it's very easy to ask out men because if a woman asks men out, I think it's the chances of the man saying no is relatively low. Um, so yeah, I don't know if Instagram DMs is the right way to do it. Obviously, there's not really an effective way of reaching out to me otherwise. So it'd be uh, it'd be illogical for me to say find me elsewhere. But if you happen to see me at a bar, feel free to come up to me and say hello. OMG DR, that's so fun. Yeah, I'm super excited for the DR. Any advice on making a career switch from away from capital markets, cutting through the noise of others? Capital markets. You know what? I always hear capital markets. By capital markets, are we talking about like sales and trading or coverage of public companies? When people say they're in capital markets, I'm not really sure what. So like, it's why not? Like, what do you do in capital markets? What does that mean? Did you ever have plans to stay in banking long term? I did. At some point, I even thought about, um, yeah, staying, maybe jumping to a bigger bank to make it more career oriented. But I growingly, I'm recognizing that perhaps in the long term future, if I'm my career is not going anywhere and I have a family to feed and maybe I'll get an MBA and go back to banking. But I think finance, you really need to make sure, d- do I know what I'm good at? And then is what I'm good at being used in what I'm doing? I don't think the skills that I have are particularly good for finance. I'm good at being organized and I'm good at career services. I think I'll make a great MD, but I think I'm not that good of an analyst, not that good of an associate. Definitely won't be a good VP. I'd be a phenomenal MD though. If a bank is hiring MDs at 24, feel free to let me know. Thoughts on the Three Arrows Capital? Oh, is that the crypto fund that went broke or something? One of the thousands that are about to go broke? Not much opinions. I'm not surprised people taking basically gambles and bets are going broke. I hope more and more get screwed. Honestly, I feel like so many people have been making too much easy money based off nothing and scamming people and basically directing retail investors into investing in things that are worthless. I hope there's severe consequences on the people that are actually supposed to get in trouble. Trying to move into Manhattan right now. Place is a madhouse, bro. Like the neighbor next to me. He originally signed his studio. It's not even a one bed studio apartment, probably a whole 400 square feet for $2,500 during COVID. They asked for $3,700, and he said no, obviously. And there's now a public listing for $4,200. $4,200 for a studio. Are these rooms made out of gold? Like what? Who can afford these? Of course, if you continue to raise wages and raise minimum wage and spray cash into the world, everything is going to go up. I don't know what to tell you. Trading, sorry, Canadian thing. Yeah, it's S&T. It's hard to navigate at S&T. S&T is so niche. It's very hard to lateral out of that into traditional like banking and stuff. But I've seen people do it. Like actually today, one of my buddies from college, I won't say her name, but she was in sales and trading, and I saw an update that she moved to Greenhill. So seems like it's possible. Are there any progressive views you agree with? David, funny that you ask. David, are you assuming that I'm not progressive? Um, I have mixed to relatively left-leaning views on guns rights, I would say. Um, I would also say that in terms of education and prioritizing public education to a certain means, I don't know if the medium at which slash the way that you do it is necessarily aligned with democratic value or Democrat values, but I think that there needs to be far more emphasis on public education, which I think I would argue is a progressive view. Um, I understand the need to raise taxes, kind of, and wealth tax slash progressive tax a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think that will just lead to people avoiding taxes and even less for the bottom. So um, I would say I've thought about many issues. I'm obviously not an expert in all issues, but outside of those things, I would say I'm conservative for the most part. Are you worried about your job stability? No, we're a VC-backed company. We have plenty of cash to last us for a couple of years, filled with smart people. I'm sure we'll pivot if things go south. I'm actually really not worried. If anything, I think out of all my peers, I feel the most secure about my job. What's your personal investment philosophy? Very, very risk averse. A majority of my investments are the S&P 500 and Apple. I am not heavily invested in crypto or anything just because my job is already has exposure there. Don't really have money in NFTs personally. The price for a studio here makes me cry. The price for a studio here is the price of a 3-bedroom house in Irvine, California, which is a relatively bougie part of Southern California. So something is definitely wrong. And you could pay $4,000 here for a shack with no laundry and units, no AC, 10 floors up, no elevator. Smells like dog poop. But you get to tell people you live in New York, right? That's what matters. Sorry, I got a text message real quick. I wouldn't mind an inflation check from the government. Yeah, let's just keep spraying checks, and then ultimately just get UBI. It's a great idea. Audit transaction services IB. Thoughts on this pivot? People done it. I've seen people do it. That exact path actually. Thoughts on a certain LI. Thoughts on a certain LI Banks VOG. What does that mean? Like Valuations Optimization Group, like Lincoln's. They're great. They like VOG. John Kahn and VOG is they're a phenomenal group. I worked for them partly during COVID when M&A died. They have this like Lincoln model that they developed that does super well. I don't know. I don't know if I would say I highly recommend it, but like it's a great group led by great people. It's just like you mentioned, you're a more traditional person, so I assume that's like somewhat related to conservatism. Yeah, but I think there's people that are probably not many, but people that are more traditional but still progressive. But yeah, I would say I align right winged or conservative politically typically. Has your post IB compensation been a livable wage for New York City? Nothing is a livable wage for New York City. You got to make millions, bro. And you are Christian as well. Correct. Brian, very risk averse. That is me. Also, Brian works in a crypto startup and sells NFTs. Clarification. I do not work for a crypto startup. I work for a Web3 startup. And yes, I am very risk averse. That is funny. I guess I am, but I'm in the most risk averse position for like we're not actively investing. We're building a platform. We're venture capital backed. People are always like, "Oh, you're so risky doing these things." I actively thought about what I was doing. Granted, I guess there's probably a pretty big rung of less ballsy people that would not take that risk, but huh, interesting. I guess it is pretty risky in some ways, yeah. But overall, in my investment philosophy, I'm pretty risk averse. And yeah, of course. Like if the entire NFT market goes away, then I'm screwed. Does your startup work with Mercury online banking for startups? At an intro interview. Oh, we don't. We kind of work with a NFT service called Mercury, but not Mercury the online banking. I know what that Mercury is. I don't we don't work with them. But in the process of switching to TS, needed that small amount of hope for the long term play. Thanks, brother. Of course, dude. You got it. Cool PFP. I think is that a BYC? What's your 5 to 10 year career goals? Kenneth, great question. I would say my 5 year goal is to become a celebrity. My 10 year career goal is to make enough to live in Irvine and play golf, which both are relatively hard bars to hit. Okay, sliding in your DMs. I feel okay. Couple of things. So I have it on a record, so I don't get in trouble for this later. In the low chance I get famous, and I can refer back to this. I think, obviously, I'm not a famous person. I have some level of influence with this platform, and obviously, I'm somewhat recognizable. That puts you in like an awkward spot where it'd be weird for me to say like, oh, I don't respond to DMs for whatever reason because I'm not big enough to say that. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy, and you could frame it as just a girl DMing just a guy that they happen to find on Instagram. But at the same time, there's some issue of like uh, people could in this today's dangerous climate of being canceled. Like even the smallest things can lead to bigger things, which is why I'm very careful about responding to DMs. Um, just a disclaimer. What do you actually do at your job? Like, how would you describe your role? Great question. Um, I I think I've been mainly focused on ops, growth, partnerships, and somewhat product. A different way of saying that is anything that's not directly developing slash software engineering in tech, which is a big bubble, and kind of like any company grows into that afterwards. It's a very fun part post initial building. I'm a dean's list, double major in finance and accounting. Phenomenal. I just concluded my first year of university. Congratulations. What advice do you have for breaking into IB from a non-target school? Start networking, Philip. Call your people. Lincoln has a very bad reputation here in the EU. Wow. Why do they have a bad reputation, AK? Can you expand on what kind of reputation? Like why is it bad? In the US, I wouldn't say they have a reputation. I think they're building pretty rapidly. They just acquired, they're expanding. Their original team is very solid. I don't know. Their culture might have diluted a little bit in the recent years. They're somewhat of a sweatshop, in my opinion, in the sense that they crank a lot of deals. But I don't know if I would make. I have I have a good perception of Lincoln, even as an employee that has left. Um, I am a big proponent of Lincoln, and I will always be. Um, and they're not paying me to say it. I have no incentive to say it. I really do think that Lincoln is a solid shop made of solid people, and they tend to hire very high quality people, and I'll continue to stand by that. Sorry, I'm responding to very important text messages about what to do over 4th of July weekend. Thoughts on Big Four strategy consulting? I'm personally just I'm not into professional services, but it's a safe route to go, and they'll always need people. It's a human heavy service. Consulting, I have mixed feelings about. I think it gives you good skill sets to expand and go into other corporate jobs, but at the same time, you could argue, what are you actually doing in consulting? I don't know. I think this era has a lot of jobs that really actually don't do anything and are jobs just to have jobs. There's millions of jobs like that, in my opinion, especially in the corporate world, that don't actually produce anything. If you get messages on LinkedIn from a recruiter and not interested, do you ghost them or do you reply? I ghost them. I get too many messages on LinkedIn to respond to every one of them. How long do you think you'll stay in Web3 for? As long as I can. I really think Web3 is cool, regardless of if anything real comes out of it. Uh, Definitely some of the smartest people in the world are in it right now. Um, and there's a lot of money being input in it. I think even if it's a bubble for the next 5 years or so, it will become applied in every single way. Having Web3 experience will 100% make you hireable in some degree. And saying that you have that expertise, that industry expertise, and especially because you're early in it in a corporate role, whatever you say will ultimately somewhat go because you are defining that industry. So I'm very bullish on Web3 careers. Do you ever feel insecure about posting YouTube videos when are getting when they were getting no views? No, and growingly, I feel even less insecure. I really like this is such a hobby and so fun for me. I really don't care, which is why lately I've really been posting whatever I want. Initially, like of course, as a human being, there's some level of care, but more and more, I'm just like, dude, like I'm gonna be myself. If you like it, watch it. If you don't watch it. There's really nothing that I'm losing by doing it. I love posting YouTube videos. Um, and I will continuously make videos that you guys might not necessarily enjoy. Apologies in advance. Um, how much can you code, and how did you learn to code? Any resources you recommend? So I learned how to code in high school. Then I almost double majored in college. And then I've been taking classes recently to learn it professionally. So I can code a pretty decent amount, relatively full stack, but mostly, yeah, I can do. I code JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Python. I want to say SQL is code, but yeah, I know how to do React or write in React. Yep. Resources, I think W3 school or whatever is pretty decent. There's a lot of YouTube videos that are good. Curious about your experience working at a Web3 startup? What percent of your compensation is cash versus equity or in crypto? Um, Pretty good cash because we're well funded. Very great equity and none in crypto actually. That's all I will say about that. It's not that bad. I mean, here in the EU, they're covering typical industries, but sometimes the people at Lincoln tend to be like conservative and old-fashioned bankers. Oh, my favorite types of people. Yeah, I think Lincoln definitely has somewhat of a old school aspect of it, which is why I think they do well with a lot of their clientele because finance is still old school, whether you like it or not. But I like them for that culture. For example, wearing the tie. Oh, so so progressive, but U.S. Lincoln does not wear ties. They do like button ups, and especially post work from home. I don't think they do that at all. Um, yeah, I people would protest that probably. Did you ever get yelled at IB? I get that question a lot. I'm trying to think back if I actually ever got yelled at. I don't think so. It really was not that culture. People would be alarmed if people were yelling, and I personally would not have stood for that. Like if I got yelled, I probably would have reported it or went public with it. Like I would not have just stood around. So, any tips for PE recruiting? Yeah, I went through it kind of. Go through the recruiters. They're obviously bombarding you with emails every single day. I would, yeah, I would go through a recruiter, and talk about your experience. Have your deal information memorized. Make sure that your resume is up to date. Know your technicals. Get ready for that case study. Um, yeah, PE recruiting is just like banking recruiting, except um, even more so about relationships, slightly less about networking, and more about like your banking experience. It's one of those things, in my opinion, where if you have a banking job, you will get a PE job, a PE job. You might not get the PE job, but you will get a PE job, right? Um, did you work in left end? No, Xavier. I worked in M&A. Just old school middle market mergers and acquisitions. Have you ever been to Atlanta? I have. I've been in Atlanta for many flights, and then I think maybe I've never been there like out in the open. Actually, I think I've only been to Atlanta for layovers, so I've not been to Atlanta technically. Have you ever had a quarter life crisis yet? Yeah, every single day, dude. Um, literally every single day is a quarter life crisis for me. I don't know at what point I become like this, but it's somewhat of a miserable life. I'm constantly thinking about like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I doing this? Which you could argue is a quarter life crisis every single day. It's a pretty stressful life. Have you ever considered going to VC after your startup experience? Yeah, yeah. It's a active, realistic career path that I'm considering, Eli or Ellie, Eli. It makes sense, right? Going from finance to tech experience in a very booming industry to VC. It's probably the most realistic career path that I will take. Um, I'm turning 40 in 3 years crisis. Don't worry, friend. You're way ahead. Matthew, thanks for the kind words. But I think, no offense to you, I think that kind of like the concern that you have at 40 is different from the concern you have at 20. And I'm a very ambitious person in some ways, and I'm worried that if I don't take the right steps in the next couple of years, I'm gonna end up being not what I want to be. And a lot of things that I want to be are very time and age sensitive, and I feel like I've been slacking and not really doing what I really want to do, and not making use of my true talents for the right things. Um, which which concerns me a lot. But thank you for the kind words. Kupuna Whiting. Whiting. I don't know who is Inspson. Thank you. I've bug out a few times a day thinking about what to do next, and if I'm ever doing what the best use of my time. Yeah, that's me every day, every moment. I always think about like, am I really making use of the right time? Am I doing the right things? Am I building the future that I want? Should I just go back with home with my family and spend time with them? Should I go to Korea and spend time with my extended family instead of being in New York and looking at a computer all day long? Always think about like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I think it's very important to just be in the present and focus on the present. It's something that I've been actively working on and being thankful and grateful for where you're at. But it's so hard, right? Especially in this day and age, and being our age and constantly seeing people online, very meta. Literally talking about myself right now, and wondering like, should I be doing what they're doing? That's the concern. It's very concerning. Love your content. Keep it up, man. Thanks, Fabian. Really means a lot. Have you considered cancel culture ever hitting you from having an online presence? Yeah, I'm sure at some point, if I get big enough, or I get into a job that is publicized, something will buy me back. Which is why I'm very upfront about who I am, so people don't do a gotcha. I feel like you don't get canceled unless you only get canceled when things become surprising. Like if like Chris Pratt is like on the borderline getting canceled now because like his Christian views are getting in the way. But if he was very, very strong in his beliefs from the start, kind of like Denzel Washington, he wouldn't get canceled. I think people only get canceled if their cancelable things get exposed post fame, which is why one of my videos on my Korean channel, kind of the troll, is I admit that I'm a Korean, a Christian conservative, and say that I'm posting this right now in case I get famous later. Because I think if you say it up front, it's not very cancelable. I'm sure there's something I said on the channel that will get me canceled in 15, 20 years. How much stuff from banking have you forgotten? A lot of banking is just like MD specific, like formatting stuff and like the industry knowledge. I don't think I've forgotten much. I tend to like keep up with it kind of and talk to people still in the industry. Are you planning to stay in NSV for the long run? Hell no. Trying to get out of here as fast as possible and be in California at some point. Ever plan to have children? Yeah, would love to have children. Analysis paralysis when you think too much about everything like that, just acting rather than just acting. Yeah, dude, I need to really focus on the present and stop thinking about stupid things. Because at the end of the day, thinking about these things don't really change anything, especially if you don't take action. It's purely just like this overthinking thing that doesn't get you anywhere. And I tend to do that a lot. So, yes, I 100% affirm/agree that it is unnecessary to get analysis paralysis. You're not missing out. I went into PE after banking. It's overrated. Yeah, I have zero regrets about not getting to PE. I think PE is like banking 2.0, except even with less security. And yeah, one of the greatest decisions I've ever made is not getting into PE. I think it would have been miserable. Thoughts on skipping IB and going straight to the PE out of undergrad? If you can do it, why not? Because most people use IB to get into PE anyways. So if you could skip a step, why not? How do you feel about capitalism? Pro capitalism. Capitalism works and capitalism is great. Do you watch sports? I was at the Yankees game last night, but I don't actively watch it. I only go if there's events or like as a date or something. How many children? I would ideally like to have 3, but um, it's not up to me, right? That's something that you have to say no. If my wife also wants 3, sure. What are your most valuable, impactful mantras you live by? Um, I'd say live life to the fullest. There's only so much you can do. Uh, Things just happen, and you can't really plan ahead. I think the past 3 years have definitely taught all of us that. Yeah, life just happens. Timing and luck is a majority of the reason why things happen. And for me, that is God. So I rely on that. Thoughts on making less than 140K working in NFT startup? Go for it, bro. Sounds fun. NFT startups are super fun. We need to repopulate this planet, like Elon said, like kill everyone and repopulate. I don't know about that. How high do you say your self-esteem is? Pretty damn high. Even more so than I probably expect. I try to put on this like slightly humble person. People are like, I've gotten so much feedback, which I think is fascinating. People are like, you're so humble and like you're so down to earth. I'm a very cocky person. I love myself. I think I'm great. I love that I am me. I would not want to be anyone else. How can one improve their self-esteem? A lot of it is like telling yourself, like, yo, like you are great. And finding reasons to know you're great. And not necessarily making a comparison. Like, don't say, like, I'm better than this person, therefore I'm great, because then you're going to start comparing yourself to people that are better than you and say, I'm not great because of that. It's more about like why you're great independently. Like, I think I'm phenomenal, like, genuinely. Who is the one public figure that you look up to? Ooh. Who is a public look up to? Is a hard, like, I'm a big fan of Kanye West. I think he says whatever he wants and he's super artistic and creative and very, very famous. I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs. I think he got the way that he wanted. Um, there's different aspects of specific people that I like. But yeah, I would say Kanye West is, I don't know if I look up to him, but big fan, big fan. Best ways for students to get into Web3 or crypto. I think that it's purely through like networking and figuring yourself out. But I see a lot of kids by kids, I mean people that are younger than me, get into Web3 because it's very accessible through Twitter. In fact, most of the people that I interact with on a daily basis in the NFT world are pretty young. So I would recommend that. Thoughts on Elon buying Twitter? It's kind of like dissolved now, right? Like people aren't really sure what's going on there. I think it's a smart move. I think he's about to control the world, but I don't know if he actually has that much cash to do it. And people are talking about it. I think Elon is the ultimate marketer and salesman of all time, which is one of the most important skills to have in this world, especially now. And something that I'm trying to learn to do better. Um, I firmly believe that marketing and salesy and being able to talk and soft skills will far outpace hard skills over the long run. Um, you can outsource hard skills. You can't outsource soft skills. No, I meant falling birth rates. Oh, it is concerning, yes. And growingly, I think there will be a depolarization of like perfectly crafted human beings that are being born from rich parents, and then like uh, I would assume a lot of the middle class are going to stop having kids, and then the lower class will continue to have kids. So there might be this like weird giant disparity. Very brave new worldy. Um, how much of your self esteem would you be affected if you only make 60K? Uh, Probably somewhat affected, but knowing myself, I don't know. Depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm a stand-up comedian making 60K, self-esteem probably through the charts. If I'm a low-level software engineer making 60K, probably want to kill myself. What do you like about yourself? Everything. I like how witty I am. I like how I'm good at talking. I like how I'm a jack of all trades. I like how I'm fast at learning things. I'm good at delivering things. I am very socially competent. I like how I look. I like the community that I have, the large network that I have. I like my family. Uh, I like my faith. I like my worldviews. I really like the Brian that I am. What is the one thing you miss about life before IB startup? Oh, I miss so many things about school. Just the freedom, having my own time, feeling smart in the room. Oftentimes nowadays, I feel like I'm not the smartest person in the room. Before that, I always felt like I was the smartest person in the room. What's your general strategy to becoming a celebrity? Um, I don't have an active strategy. I think it's going to come down to just like meeting a lot of people, hoping one of these videos or contents hits, or finally meeting that one person that can get me connected. Because at the end of the day, entertainment is also about connecting and getting your foot in the door through some casting or something. I don't think I'm going to be an actor. I don't think I'm going to be a model. I'll probably have to come down to some like entertainment or some like funny content or some channel picking me up and hiring me. In your opinion, most promising altcoins? I don't recommend any altcoins. I think they're all scams. Speaking of Kanye, do you like the old Kanye or the new Kanye? I like both. How do you feel about inheritance? Like the action of passing down money? Yeah, only poor people around the world are having kids. I'm planning seven. Jeez. How did you get so confident? I don't know. I think as long as I can remember, I've been relatively pretty confident. YouTube kind of helped me get confident. I've always been a confident person as long as I can remember. Um, I think being born with a couple things makes you more confident. It's an alignment of a lot of different things. Tips for maintaining strong friendships: communication, active outreach. Be that person to coordinate. Why do you want to be a celebrity? I think I just like being known. I like having influence. I like being powerful. But being known, I think, is very important. And I also think that my skill sets best align themselves for what a celebrity would be good at, which is like dealing with people at masses and getting them hyped up and talking to them and influencing them. Um, yeah, I think it's something that I'd be very good at personally. Favorite PGA pro. I don't really follow golf to that extent to even know PGA's names. Tiger Woods. I don't know. Default answer. What if in the friendship you're the one coordinating? Um, then maybe that's not that good of a friend. If you're okay with that, then maybe it's good of a friend. But if then like it really depends who you are, right? I tend to be the coordinator in general, so I don't mind doing that. But I know a lot of people might feel like, yo, like if I'm the only one coordinating, then does this person actually want to hang out with me? So it really depends. It's hard. It's a toughie. What's your MBTI? ENFP, and I've been in the ENFP since like age 12. Never changed, and I'm like 100 E, 100 N, 100 F, 100 P. If you get famous, just remember us. Of course, of course, of course. If big if there. Tips for being more confident. Um, this is gonna be the ultimate cringe of all time, but genuinely, like, tell yourself, be more confident. Tell yourself, remind yourself how great you are, um, and make small wins for yourself. I think confidence builds as you accomplish more. Um, make your bed. Start by making your bed. Um, finish a book. I don't know. Finish a module on freaking Duolingo. Uh, succeed at getting a date. These are little level ups that you're like, yo, my confidence is building, my confidence is building, my confidence is building. Confidence is a snowball. People can smell confidence. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you get confident, you become more confident. It just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. I think not caring about what everybody thinks helps too. Oh, 100%. I think my only point of insecurity is that sometimes I do care about what people think. Um, but if you can transform that into um, just simply aligning what you want with who you are, then you become confident. Screw what people think. Your life is way too short. You're way too precious. People don't care about you as much as you think they do. The same way that you only care about yourself, they only care about themselves. Um, screw them. Like, honestly, I think like life is too damn short to think about people's perception of you. It's important to think about what your boss thinks of you, what your family thinks of you, what your girlfriend thinks of you, because these people are stakeholders and they matter in your life. But at the end of the day, they too are human, and you can only please them so much. Really, just you gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta keep telling yourself you're great, you're great, you're great, and you are fortunately and unfortunately stuck with being yourself forever. That's one fact that you can't change, and you might as well live a confident life, right? Brian caught podcasts when? Yeah, I'm trying to make podcasts more like often. I have phenomenal and very cool people around me that I can do podcasts with. Um, I I I need to like brand it more. I just think it's like I'm not that good at branding things. But yeah, with like I'm telling you, talking for a living is what I aspire to do, and podcasts are definitely at the center of that. On that note, I think I'm about to get throat cancer, so I'm gonna call it a day. Last note, yeah, Web3 podcast. So me and my friend Benny from work, we're gonna do one probably once a week. I don't know if it's gonna be on this channel, but we'll start one soon. Thank you guys for joining. Wow, hour and 20 minutes, one of the longest I've ever done. I'm gonna probably go eat a snack or maybe just go to bed. Pretty tired. I'll try to get back on next week. Thank you guys for joining. All great questions. The Saturday video dropping, talking about how NFTs will succeed. Thanks for listening to me talk in this Batman voice for an hour and 20 minutes. And I will talk to you all soon. Good night.